Hello, welcome back. I'm going to continue to talk about the book King Paimon, The Lord of the Endless Silence, The Lord of the Abyss, written by me, Anai's Giulia. I am the author of the book, and I do these recordings, in the way of to say there's always an interesting aspect about the book that one can talk about. There's always an interesting storyline, or there's always new elements or new interesting viewpoints or new information, or one can think, of course, further on. It's almost like the journey, the journey of the thought. One can ride on and see what else is there to see. There's not only one point, or there's not only so many. There's always it's almost like there's a type of a movement. So there's a very beautiful aspect of movement too through the story, through the book. I've tried to make it as interesting as possible, like different sets or different beautiful transitions, the transition from one scene to another, especially if it's a major one. There's always some type of preparation before the big scene appears, and then the detail of the scene, that I always try to in any book to make it as interesting, or depending on what novel I'm writing. King Paimon is a grimoire, but it is a fictional story. At the same time, I have spoken about King Paimon, and it's almost like the character of the book. It is a very interesting figure in mythology, in historical beliefs or historical data, or things that we know about King Paimon, scientifically, historically, or even other aspects that can bring us to a certain region or a certain place that one can think, well, King Paimon, one can say, even if we don't know exactly, one can still know. Search the truth, or search for clues, or search for new ideas. There is the aspect of freedom. There's always to say, well, as a writer, one of course has the freedom to take a character or imagine it. It's a fictional work, it's a novel, and it is a very beautiful type. It is a grimoire. It has a specific style. That's the style of the book. In novels too, of course, there are different genres, but I don't necessarily want to talk about this. I would like to, as I've said, continue to talk about Paimon and the book, and that's like those are the elements that really almost like give me the interest, the food for the brain, or for the things for me that I enjoy talk about, especially in this book. And why? So as I say, well, I still, of course, want to talk about my other books, but King Paimon is my, I would say, master book, or my masterpiece. It's the book that I'm sure I will talk most about. It is almost like a choice, at the same time. Well, of course, I could talk very much as well about the other books, which I did, but King Paimon I enjoy most to talk about. Maybe because it has some scientifically, or almost like it is a literal form, It is a text, it's a book, it is a hymn, and so on and so forth, but the meaning behind it, or the storyline, or the aspects of Paimon, or the different aspects that I have seen by writing the book, the concept of the book, or the parts that I had to work on to finish it, to get it in this way. It is a large book, 745 pages. Something like that. Of course, there are some pages with a title and so on, but approximately that. And it has a hymn, called Whispers of the Abyss. I have already talked about it. I would like to speak about something new, and we return to the thematic of color. So the thematic of color is always very, very important in a book. Every book has a specific color set. I can say, well, this book has these 4 main colors, or 5, one can choose, or this is the setting, or these are the lights, or these are the colors. And in King Paimon, interestingly, the colors are very, very like very red, very vibrant. When it is pure colors, very, very extremely vibrant and beautiful. At the same time, we have very soft blue, like pale, or soft, almost pink, or yellow. There's always a very beautiful type of scenery. it's very much connected to the sands. No, the color of the sands is like orange, it's like a yellow, it's like a blue, no, and at the same time, no, the colors it's more black, no, or red. At the same time, there are many other vibrant colors around Paimon, and there's always the decorative style. You know, there's a certain style, of course. And we have spoken about the robes, no? This is the element of robes that Paimon wears, no? Like different type of robes. He has black robes. He has different, like, very beautiful robes. At the same time, he has the kingship clothes, no? The king attire, as I've said, no? The jewelry, you know, it's almost like it's encasted on the clothes, on the wardrobe he wears. Now there's always like a lot of symbols or a lot of elements, depending on the costume. So there's the element of showing off in some certain terms, or the idea of hiding, or not, or it has, of course, much more meaning about the robes. I could talk 1 hour only about the robes, the different meanings of the robes and what they represent. But there's not the point. The point of research is not necessarily to, there's always a distance that one keeps from the subject. There's not the necessary need to jump, and describe. It's almost like I always try to get an idea, and then I go a little bit further, but I don't follow it, because I always, I want to go further on and see what else. So there's the element of stagnation and sometimes the element of movement, which are both important, depending when one. At the same time, when you work in the text, sometimes you have to be almost like stagnant, very observing in the text to see if, whatever specific you look for, or one can be, very relaxed and read very relaxed. One can even interpret it, the same. There's always a different style too as well, how one can read a book. And the meaning, to say, well, it's almost like sometimes it's like you want to define something, but you don't know what should I define? What element is important? Which one should I choose? And you have more options. Which one is for me, or which one should I take? Which one is the good one? The element of choice, and that's why it's important, that part of stagnation, to say, well, now I keep my position and I can, observe and choose. It's actually a beautiful moment, almost like an apparition. Say, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say, well, I choose this number. And then you choose. And there are other things as well. It's almost like sometimes things are shown, but it cannot be touched, or things are heard, but cannot be necessarily so good displayed. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. There are always some type of sounds or some type of things that we almost like we have to accept. And the book, what's the beautiful part or thing of a book is that everything is like, we created. It's always a secure place. There's always a, almost like the meaning of the cover, or the meaning of a cover book, or there's the trust, that is between the author and the reader, knowing, well, the author has, of course, taken care, the author has, of course, written something, that is worthwhile for many reasons, that one can find, of course, and one can go further on into the story, or talking about something. There's to say that's very much Paimon. So the story has no end in that way. It can always continue. We can always talk more. We can always go further on. At the same time, of course, the part of the stagnation is to say beautiful part, even if it doesn't seem like that. But in that part of stagnation, things take place, the way that they should. So it's almost when he met the girl in the market, there was this point of stagnation, of him in slow movement, but she in sitting, or stagnation, the meaning of slow movement. Of course, stagnation is not to say non-active, it's just a moment, it's more calm or more stagnant, it's not moving, it's just, you have the feeling like, things are not necessarily moving. And through the travel in the desert, there's almost like a different feeling necessarily of atmosphere, and there's openness of the space, no, which of course has a meaning too as well in the way they feel, no, the openness of the space, no, they have the open desert, the open blue sky, no, the fire, the talk. There's always this element of the meeting point, and the active part, no, at Paimon is, as I've said, can sometimes move very fast, but sometimes it's actually the natural rhythm. It's a very natural rhythm, no, the way, of course, it's correct, and but not to say that that's the only ability, no, there's of course other abilities as well. The interesting aspect of Paimon is the aspect of fast, as well as I've said, the aspect of something very concentrated, no, or something very visual, or something very strong in some way or another. As I've said about the colors as well, no, there's always the circle. There's always the, well, if I start in a point, no, there's the I will arrive at another point, but it's connected to the one, no, I will receive my answer. One has to recognize, so sometimes you have to go back in thought as well, no. And the recognition is a big part of it, no? Of course, how to recognize, no? How to choose, and so on and so forth. So there's there is this, as in anything, no, the dance or the game between two or three, no, when you draw, you use many pens, or when you paint, no, many different brushes, and so on. There are different ways to make a thing, no, and that's the beautiful aspect, no. You say, well, as a writer, I take pride in the way I write my books, no. That's the way I like them. That's the way I want to write them. Otherwise, I will not write them, no. There's no purpose for someone to tell me, well, why this name and so on. Of course, I can answer it as a meaning too, why this person asked and what can I say, but it's not to say criticize, well, maybe this name would have been better. No, of course not. It is correctly as I have written it. It's not a mistake, and it's not by mistake, no. Even maybe it seems, but it's not. So there's a pride, of course, as in any field that, of course, the writer too has. No, you cannot change in that way, no, something that it is already done, or it is finished. There is the aspect of even for the author to discover, even maybe later, no, say why I've chosen this name, or what is the meaning of this, no, and one can see that it's correlated to the story as well, no, and if only for the reader or only for the author, no, it's still enough, no, it's not to say why this is correct or what this is wrong. It is more to say, well, this is the plan, or this is what I wrote, this is what I chose. And that's a beautiful aspect of being a writer, no, the element of freedom to say, well, I can create something, no, that's totally uniquely mine, and it's beautiful, and it's like different, almost like sparks, no. There is always the element of celebration, no, of the beautiful, and all the elements come together beautifully, no. And they say, well, now it's done. That's the part that, of course, as a writer, you are very happy about. And the part of talking about the book is very pleasant as well. It shows even to the writer, no, new aspects that maybe I was so much concentrated on the concept that I could have missed, or I could not have the time to think about, no. That's why talking about the book also for me is always a pleasure. I enjoy talking about my books. I enjoy to read now other books as well, or in general, but of course I love my books, no. My books for me are my best, no. My work is my work, no, my best, no. That's I have learned to, not necessarily that I have learned, but there is, of course, necessarily element of freedom as well, no, when one writes. That what makes it correct, otherwise it will not be correct, no. So the freedom aspect of speech or writing is the number one, no, of course, always. So the the artistical part or the stylistical part is the interesting part for a writer as well, no? It's a choice, of course. It was like, well, the style, no? The title, this, no? Then once the writer has said yes, no, this is what I want to write about, then the work can start. I have talked about this in different recordings as well, no, how you start when you write the book, or I speak in different recordings as well in this playlist about Paimon, about the different aspects of the book or of writing the book, or different things that maybe writers are interested in, or other people who have interest in the language and syntax, and not only speaking about the modern one, of course. You have to have your books, you have to have your knowledge prepared. It's not to say being a writer is putting words together. It would be very foolish. Being a writer is it's an artistic form. It is a knowledgeable form that one has to have based his work in different fields of dominion, and one can, of course, very well change between. No, this is not to say, well, I can only write one genre. Maybe it is the case, but in general, most writers do cross, borders in the meaning of writing different languages or writing different syntax, or it's always a new creation, of course, from itself. No, it's not to say I'm going to write the second book like the first. Almost say, well, I can get inspired, but I'm going to create a new one. No, that's always the element of new that the writer or the artist is interested in. And of course the details, of course, it's we work with details, we work with syntax with details, with little parts, but it is very beautiful, when something can be created out of that. There's a lot, that can be said or written and so on. And for me, I like, of course, to change between genre. I like I like to change. I don't necessarily say, well, I have studied this genre when I've written these books, and now I will write. Almost like I work in sets. I have different books on different, but at the same time similar. They are parts, more they are connected, and then I have other books that has this genre that I have written a few books, or maybe it's a genre I have written only one book. It doesn't matter, but it's the element of new for me. I want to try a new style, or just from the title itself, I know already, what style it's going to be, and one almost like you get to know the toys, and now you can play more. There's that feeling of this element of search, in the beginning, and then say, well, actually, it's sometimes happening fast, or it comes, it just appears, or you get an idea. Sometimes it happens that I'm working on another book, and I get the idea for another book, and then, of course, I write it down, and then when I finish, I can continue, and I choose on which book I work. So it is always some type of parallel work as well, That's how I do it. I don't write one book and then I have different ones, and then I work depending on the ability I have at the time, to correct or to read. I organize my work. Now I record, or I like to talk about it and so on. What is another aspect interesting of Paimon, if to say, well, that's like my main glue or my main subject. That's what I like to talk most about. At the same time, there's always an element of discovery as well. It's not to say, well, I know. No, of course not. That's why the element of search in this way is important, to further on develop, further on move, say, well, I found this and now I can move on. There's always the element of continuation, as I've said. When in text you have point, there's the element of with that element too, of course, one can play, it gives a different meaning to the sentence, or a different, especially in hymn form. It is not whereas the syntax is free, you can rhyme it, but it has a set of rules, or a set of, but one can always, go after the story and the way it has to be in the text. That's what I have learned from Paimon as well, I can choose to leave a sentence longer and make one short, if that's how it has to be read, or when you read it, it has that specific rhythmus, or the text sounds better, no? As I've said, I have written it in many ways. Now it can be played in theater, it can be made in a movie, it can be talked about, like stylistically, linguistically, artistically, or there are different ways, no, that I've included in the book, or in general in my books. So of course, for me, it's not difficult to talk about my books, no, because there's a lot behind the book itself, no, which is presented. There's of course a lot of different type of knowledge that one acquires, no, once something has been worked on and finished or done in that way, no, at the same time not, of course. The book, no, it's finished, has to, but the story not, no. So well, one can even write a second, no. So that's a beautiful aspect that I find about writing. And at the same time now, especially if a book required, and it's almost like you have that feeling, well, it is this one, and then I can focus totally on a new one. That's absolutely perfectly fine. I think even in reading, no, one can have, there are people who like more books that wants to read, no, depending on the situation, no, if I go there, I would read this book, if, there's different interests, no, and some people like to read one specific genre, some people like to read different genres or try different genre, no, the book is, of course, always a selection, and the inside of the book, King Paimon, is paper and text. No, it's a typical it's a typical book. It's nothing. Say I don't have images or anything like that. It's just of course the arrangement of the text. No, but it is the written text. The book itself, no, that meaning that it doesn't have, it's not a historical book in any way, no, it is a lyrical, it is a novel, like I've said, no, a grimoire even, no, it has a specific style that I have created for the book. And at the same time, my choices seemed very easy at the time, like exactly I knew how I want to write it, how and why, and how it's supposed to be very fast. And then how to say, harder part, which was not, it was hard in the meaning of, a lot, to correct and to put the text together, no, and to arrange the text as well. But the idea and they came very fast, the idea and the storyline and how I developed it, no, that came very, very nicely together. The most part was the correction, the arrangement of the text, and of course the recordings as well. I have done different recordings, and I will continue. I will leave this one here, but I will for surely make other recordings about bring new thematics to the thematic of Paimon, of the book King Paimon, the Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss, written by me, Anais Giulia. You can find it on Amazon internationally. I can order it online. It is in paperback now, in paper as a book, and you can read it, you can enjoy, and otherwise you can of course always read and hear these recordings as well, no, about the book itself, because I do think they are interesting, even if they are alternate, to the book itself. Thank you, all the best, until next time, bye.